You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. We talk about, again, the madness today. Y'all, I can't even call this a news conference because there was no news. Before I get to that, what we're really seeing right now, folks, and we do not use this word in this country, but it applies here. We are seeing a Republican coup.
Oh, yeah.
We are seeing the Republican Party, led by Donald Trump, and his minions and his imps try a coup. The people have voted. He's lost Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada. Joe Biden has 306 Electoral College votes. Joe Biden is on his way to the most votes ever. 80 million votes. Donald Trump cannot accept losing. So what do thugs do? They act like gangsters. Roll it.
The Trump administration is forging ahead with plans for a second term despite the results.
This is some crazy thinking going on inside that White House.
The damage of this is incalculable. We need to be really clear about what's happening. This is an attempted coup.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
Senator, have you congratulated Vice President Biden yet?
I'm not congratulating about.
I think the president will attend his own inauguration. He would have to be there, in fact.
What does a desperate Donald Trump do?
He's in that typical authoritarian situation. If the leader loses, he's afraid of jail and he's afraid of the poorhouse. This is a struggle for life and death.
Never in my life did I think I would like to see a dictator. But if there's going to be one, I want it to be Trump.
So if you want to rip the heart out of a democracy directly, what you do is you go after facts. And that's what modern authoritarians do. Step one, you lie.
Well, the Democrats are cheating on the election because that's exactly what they're doing. We will win this. Frankly, we did win this election.
Step two, you say it's your opponents and the journalists who lie.
Last night I did what the corrupt media has refused to do. I held Joe Biden accountable for his 47 years of lies.
Step three, everyone looks around and says, what is truth? There is no truth. And then resistance is impossible and the game's over.
You literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that that mask is killing people.
We are watching a setup of some people who are unqualified for office to be in control of the 2.1 million men and women of the armed forces.
Trump may be at the threshold of instigating a coup.
He's transforming democratic politics, which is about facts and interests and values, into authoritarian politics, which is about believing what the leader says despite everything.
I'm a nationalist, okay?
We do not take an oath to a king or queen, tyrant or dictator. We take an oath to the Constitution.
Democracy doesn't win. It's the people who win when they support democracy.
So, y'all want to see the coup in action? This is Sidney Powell, a Trump campaign lawyer, standing with Rudy Giuliani at a news conference. I can't even call it a news conference. I can call it a nutcase conference. I want y'all to listen to this.
Heartbreaking, infuriating, and the most unpatriotic acts I can even imagine for people in this country to have participated in any way, shape, or form. And I want the American public to know right now that we will not be intimidated. American patriots are fed up with the corruption from the local level to the highest level of our government, and we are going to take this country back. We are not going to be intimidated. We are not going to back down. We are going to clean this mess up now. President Trump won by a landslide. We are going to prove it, and we are going to reclaim the United States of America for the people who vote for freedom. this.
That nutcase actually said he won by a landslide. Really? At one point during the news conference, Rudy Giuliani says, Trump won Michigan, if you don't count Wayne County. It's kind of hard to not count a county. Here's more madness. We'll watch.
To any experienced investigator, prosecutor, would suggest that there was a plan from a centralized place to execute these various acts of voter fraud, specifically focused on big cities, and specifically focused on, as you would imagine, big cities controlled by Democrats, and particularly focused on big cities that have a long history of corruption. The number of voter fraud cases in Philadelphia could fill a library. Just a few weeks ago, there was a conviction for voter fraud, and 2 weeks before that, which
really. Okay, y'all. But the one that got me. Let me find this, my lord. Let me find this. If y'all were wondering why Hugo Chavez was trending on Twitter today, it's because of this news conference. He's been dead 7 years. Listen to the Puff Puff Pass Pass news conference.
Here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China in the interference with our elections here in the United States. The Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion, were created in Venezuela at the direction of Hugo Chavez to make sure he never lost an election after one constitutional referendum came out the way he did not want it to come out. We have one very strong witness who has explained how it all works. His affidavit is attached to the pleadings of Lynn Wood in the lawsuit he filed in Georgia. It is a stunning, detailed affidavit because he was with Hugo Chavez while he was being briefed on how it worked. He was with Hugo Chavez when he saw it operate to make sure the election came out his way. That was the express purpose for creating this software. He has seen it operate, and as soon as he saw the multiple states shut down the voting on the night of the election, he knew the same thing was happening here, that was what had gone on.
What is crazy, Greg? That Lynn Wood lawsuit she cited, about 20 minutes ago, a Republican judge rejected that lawsuit in Georgia. Now Trump and his imps are like 1 for 30 in court. That's how deranged these people are. Hugo Chavez, communist money coming from China, Venezuela, and Cuba. Really?
Well, Roland, I think you're identifying the problem, and Erica really put her finger on it when she mentioned apartheid. Everything that happened after 1948 in South Africa under the National Party that took power in 1948 and implemented the apartheid laws was legal. In fact, they were in constant conversation with other European countries, including the United States, and modeled some of that policy after the United States. You know, what if those judges had ruled in the other direction? In other words, you know, when people say democracy is fragile, you know, my little quibble with the clip that you showed about them saying they're attempting a coup and this goes against the Constitution, it doesn't go against the Constitution. That's the whole point. So when Reese says the Democrats need to grow a spine, they're going to have to become a different party than they've been because they're operating with the same methodology as the Republicans, as if they are a rule. Now, I trust Hugo Chavez, and then for those who hear the name Chavez and cringe, I suggest you watch a documentary called The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. It talks about the coup against Chavez in Venezuela that was fomented by the United States of America I trust Chavez before I do that white woman right there, because we don't share anything in common other than the fact that we came out of our mother's wombs on the same landmass. There is no American concept that they're ruining. All of this is legal to the point. And you hear the key words now when they say Democrat. They mean black people and non-white people. When they say big cities, they mean black-controlled mayors. When Rudy Giuliani says history of corruption, he means post-Voting Rights Act. When they say patriots and freedom, they're talking about white people. This is the language. Erica nailed it. This is the language of the National Party in South Africa in post-1948. When they say communist, they're not talking about political ideology. Most people who are scared of communism can't spell the word, much less explain to you what it is. They mean non-white people. These are white nationalists, and there is no structure in America that doesn't do anything other than support this kind of business. The only thing I would say now is if the Democratic Party wants to indeed, and I agree with you, Reese, if the Democratic Party indeed wants to be something different, this is the moment. This is the fulcrum. This is the turning point in the history of this little project called the United States of America. But if they loop back in and act like these people here got some rules that they all share that they can play by, what's going to come in 4 years is going to make right now look like a holiday.
This right here is a Eric Erickson, Erica, major conservative, right wing, far right. He tweeted this: the people who participated in that press conference today need to repent. He also responded to this. There was a white woman who was crying, Janet Mefford, so apparently a Christian broadcaster. She said, the Trump campaign conference this morning gave me hope. Hope that there are still some truly great Americans who love this country enough to go to the mat to save it. Grateful for Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, and Donald Trump. Lord, please let justice be done. Eric responded, justice will absolutely be done, just not in the way some think. I mean, when Eric Erickson is saying y'all, who also is an election law expert, y'all done lost. But you've not only lost the election, you've lost your mind, and these people cannot be trusted, including those Republicans who are silent.
Sure. And I think that kind of, one of the issues that I take with that is that you can't put the genie back in the bottle, right? A lot of these people who, are finding some level of courage, they help cultivate the cult that is in existence now. The people that, as, Dr. Carr just spelled out for us, those words and how they translate need to be played over and over again so that people can have a better understanding of the economy of language, that when you hear these folks saying these things, we're talking about this global white supremacist movement, that this is not simply just about invalidating votes. This is about ensuring that there is power and that there is power in an upcoming minority group. When we're just talking about what's happening in Wayne County and thinking about Monica Palmer, you're talking about a person who is under an active ethics investigation because she deployed her position, her oversight position on the board of canvassers, and to use it to duly influence the Grosse Pointe Board of Education, assigning people that were going to run and using dark money PAC. These people are not interested in democracy. These people have no cares about that. But this is a community of folks that have been cultivated over years and years and years. And so those trigger words, they understand that even the most simple of their followers do understand that language. And it's a part of talking about repenting. Listen, these are godless people, right? So to even cloak them under what I consider to my faith to be as a believer, as a Christian, what I tweet back to Marco Rubio when he has had something to say about Reverend Warnock, who is an upstanding man of faith, I tweeted back to him to say, Matthew 7:23, which plainly says, that he would say, you're going to be calling my name, and this is the Lord speaking, but I'm going to say, depart from me, you evildoers, you wicked folks, you lawless people. And he is one of those people that is up under that particular scripture. So, that's great that he's kind of had a come to Jesus moment, or he's actually speaking some level of truth, but there has to be some accounting for what they have allowed to happen, how they have germinated these seeds, and that they have really come to bear and that they really have no use for some of these conservative right-wing media folks now. They have their father of lies, their leader, their son of a Klansman that's leading this parade.
This probably right here sums it all up, Reese. Rudy, the evil pouring out of his pores. Y'all watch this.
Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, and Arizona. We more than double.
You know what?
His hair dye was running down his face. He was sweating.
We more than double.
I mean, that's what a evil that's what evil looks like right there. Right. Go hold on. Going back to that shot. I gotta go ahead and get that shot right here. Right there, y'all. Right there. Drop the lower third right there. That's evil. That's evil right there, Reese.
I mean, demon spawn is melting in front of our very eyes. But, you know, the one thing I will say is, I mean, as Erica pointed out, these people they're not people of conscience. They're not people of any kind of morals or ethics. And I actually don't agree with the characterization that these people are mad. What we're seeing is a propaganda campaign. This is very deliberate. It's sowing the seeds of dissent. It's sowing the seeds so that they can pass more voter suppression laws. At a minimum, that's what we know that they're going to do. We know that the Republicans maintained or made gains in legislatures that will control redistricting, that will be allowed to implement more suppression tactics if the Democrats do not pass a Voting Rights Act in Congress, if they don't give back the Senate. And so this is all quite deliberate. And I think that, characterizing it as mad, even though it is mad, it's insane in the sense of like, yeah, this shouldn't be happening. But they are very deliberate in what they're doing. Rudy Giuliani is charging $20,000 a day to the Trump campaign. He's getting paid off of this. This is a grift. Miss 55%, Miss White Tears. They're employing every single weapon they have in the book. The white woman on the verge of tears. They're employing Rudy Giuliani in hysterics. They're doing everything under the sun so that they can set the narrative. And, you know, the one criticism that I would have for the Democrats, which I don't believe that they really can do much in terms of technically and legally than what they've been doing, which is wiping the floor with the Trump campaign in every single lawsuit. Like you said, they're 1 for 30 at this point, the Trump campaign. But I do think that the messaging in terms of just how blatantly racist this is and how dangerous it is not as loud as it should be. It's certainly not as loud as how the Republicans are. And so I think we should absolutely be ringing the alarm much louder than what we are. And to Dr. Carr's point, we cannot play by the same rules. I'm not saying go lawless like the Republicans do, but you have to play hardball the same way that they have. Jennifer Rubin, actually, a former Republican, made this point very well today. The same way that Republicans make every Democrat seem like AOC, the big back boogie woman, or Bernie Sanders, Democrats should be doing that. Mitch McConnell should be one of the most reviled names in the country, just like Trump is for half the country at least. And they just let them get away with all these things. And so I think the Democrats, I'm not criticizing their legal tactics because they're successful. And I'm not saying that they should be out there, Antifa versus, the Proud Boys. I'm not saying to that extreme, but there should be more messaging and more pushback and more red alarm fires on this instead of what I see a lot from the Democrats, and in particular from the progressive wing, is all laser focused on trashing the incoming Biden-Harris administration when we have a crisis in front of us right now.
Look, I think part of the deal is when something is so crazy, there's no amount of engagement that you can do that's going to bring any level of common sense. And I think what the Democrats have done, I think what the Biden-Harris folks have done is say, you know what? We're going to let your crazy shine. You're going to keep losing in court. And again, I think that's what they're doing. But the problem, though, what we're seeing is that the Trump people are by design laying landmines to screw the Biden-Harris folks. Now, but here's the problem. They're limited because they control levels of power. The reality is, by law, this whole deal, until it's certified, I don't have to release anything. They can be making a lot more noise, I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but the bottom line is some group should be swinging like crazy. And to me, those are House Democrats and Senate Democrats, but they're not necessarily doing that. Back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one. Hey, folks at Seek.com, they're supporters of our show, and they have two fantastic products, this virtual reality headset right here and the 360-degree 4D headphones. With the virtual reality headset, if you want to watch the VR content on Seek.com or other 360-degree video, all you got to do is just get one of these headsets, pop your phone right in, and you can actually be right in the room where the content was shot. It's really compelling. It's really compelling content there. One of the things that I also love about it is watching this video, people who've been hang gliding on roller coasters and things along those lines, and you literally feel like you're right there with them. They also have, of course, the headset, which you can use for gaming, for music, for videos, you name it. It's Bluetooth. Amazing sound, tremendous bass, and literally the sound goes all across your head. Mary Spew, a sister, she is the founder of this company. She actually also designed and created these products right here. If you want to get one or both, or even subscribe to Seek.com and their VR content, simply use this promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020, and you can do so. And so we certainly, again, appreciate them being partners with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered.